On this week's episode of The Verdict, the Golden State Warriors are still undefeated,
The Carolina Panthers are still undefeated.
and the NFC East is being defeated week after week after week. Sports in session.
Where do we start?
Where do we start? Well, I think we start with the man on my left. We've got a returning guest on the show, and you know what that means. Throw it up, fans. Time to talk some hoops. We got the doctor of dropping dimes himself, Alex Drobin, in the house. Woo! Woo, boy.
Nice to be on, guys.
The
Thanks for having
first
me on.
returning guest. Usually we don't let anybody come back.
There you go. Thanks for having me on, boys.
What do you want to talk about? Chess?
What do you guys want to talk about? I'm ready to
Let's
talk anything.
talk Toronto Raptors basketball. We're a quarter of the way through the season. How are you feeling with the Raptors so far?
So the Raptors, in my opinion, have been playing well, considering they've been, very injured throughout the season. DeMar Carroll is out again. He seems to be a Band-Aid on this team. Did not know that this was going to be the case, but, that's what it is. Then we have Kobe, who's retiring, just breaking Jonas's hand. So Jonas is out indefinitely. It's going to be another 6 to 8 weeks. But overall, I think that we have been doing well.
I gotta say, I'm a little concerned about the bench. Bench still concerns me. Two guys. I mean, one of them, I think we all know who T. Ross is by now. Friends of the show all know that maybe he doesn't get a lot of good publicity, let's say. No, and I'm gonna throw another name in there. It's only one letter, but it's two names. Patrick Patterson.
That's two P's.
It's 2 P's in a pod, and the pod is exploding.
That's drastic.
Patrick's he's not really performed that well so far. I mean, if you look at those two combined, have a combined field goal percentage at this point at 36% from the bench. Yeah, I mean,
That's horrible.
That's awful. I mean, you got other guys. Corey Joseph is making an impact late in games. Some guys are at least making that impact, and these two are not. Like, they're averaging less than 6 points a game between them.
So bench scoring is a concern.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of concerns with this team. Where do you rank them overall in the Eastern Conference?
Overall, right now, I'd have to put them seventh.
Seventh? That
I
low?
would have to put them 7th or 8th because there's some great teams in the East right now, and we have a really tough schedule coming up. The Raptors have the Spurs coming up tonight. Bucks on Friday, Heat, Pacers, Mavericks within the next week and a
That's
half.
not easy.
They're all playing well. The one upside is that Kyle Lowry has been playing like an MVP candidate. NBA.com has him in their top 10 MVP candidates this season.
Playing better than he did last year.
There you go. DeMar DeRozan is an all-star again, so we have a couple of ups. Bismack Biyombo coming off the bench for to start
bad.
14 and 15. There you go. We got some upsides here, folks.
Do you guys not feel that the offense is a little stagnant, though? I feel like each time they go down the court, they make a maximum of one pass and they just play one-on-one ISO ball and play out the duration of the shot clock.
That is the case. If you look at an offense like, Golden State, for example, which is the best offense in the league, a lot of down screens, a lot of movement going on. And then you have the Raptors offense, one pass, pick and roll offense, not really too much movement. So, something like that has to change, but, that's from a coaching perspective. I don't think.
You got to fault them there.
You mentioned the schedule, and that does sound like a tough schedule. Don't you think that it sounds like a tough schedule when the team's not that good? Like, I mean, teams when you the Mavericks, they're pretty tough, but they're not. They're not the Golden State Warriors or the San Antonio Spurs. But for the Raptors, the Mavs are a big game, and that's what I think they find, that the Raptors are in that cutoff between being an elite team and being a mediocre team.
So how would you guys make this an elite team if you were Masai Ujiri? If there's one addition you could make, one thing you could do with this team, how would you do it?
In all honesty, I think we have a pretty good chance of going far in the playoffs if we have our guys back. I don't think we need to make any drastic moves in order to get past the first round. I think if we get DeMar Carroll back, if we get Valanciunas back with Bismack coming off the bench, grabbing 15 boards a game, I think we'll be in fine shape. But for the time being, I feel like we are going to struggle. I think we probably going to go 500 in the next couple of weeks, which is not what we want to see. But I don't see that with the schedule.
I think you got to get number 7 going and keep him going. Last year, number 7, Lowry, kind of dropped off. Don't know what happened at the All-Star break. I don't know. You were at the All-Star game.
He
You
was
were
partying.
playing.
He was partying a little too much, probably.
I thought it must have been, but either way, then he gets banned from parties. But if he can keep him going, then
Rumors.
I think we're
Rumors
good.
are flying.
Rumors. Kyle, we're gonna
So
have to
I
ask you to just stop partying a little bit.
I think we're just throwing stones at this team that isn't excellent. They're not a great team. They're stuck right in the middle of the pack. And my problem with them is they don't have a superstar that's going to help them win a championship. No team has really ever won a championship without a superstar since the Pistons in 04-ish.
It's been the same for a while.
Here's the thing, though. We have different opinions about this, but in my opinion,
That's not allowed.
DeMar DeRozan is a borderline superstar. I think he's a max contract player. I think he is a borderline superstar. Like he will get max contract money somewhere else if he doesn't get it here in Toronto. So I don't know. I feel like we do have that piece because he can score on pretty much anybody in the league. But I agree with you. You know, we don't have like a first tier superstar.
We do have that piece in Damari, but here's my problem. He could be gone after this year. He hasn't signed a contract yet. Do you guys remember Chris Bosh? What happened with him when he didn't sign a contract? He played it like he wanted to stay in Toronto, but he left for South Beach. So that really worries me. I think it's a mediocre team. I wouldn't mind if they traded DeMar DeRozan midseason to get something for him.
Mid-season.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
He's got a
but-
family, Andy.
Yeah.
He's got a family,
He's got a
big
family
guy.
in LA.
Not friend of the
Kobe's
show.
replacement.
I don't know about that. I don't think I'd be trading number 10.
Let's move across the NBA. We're a quarter of the way through the season. Do you have any surprise teams that are really exceeding your expectations?
I have a couple. My first one is Charlotte in the East. So they're fifth in the East. You have guys like Batum, Walker, Al Jefferson, who actually just got suspended today for substance abuse. Again, Al. Come on, Al.
Don't do drugs, kids. Come on.
No need to do drugs. But yeah, that team has been a huge surprise for me. I think that Batum was an amazing addition. He plays really good defense. He plays pretty good offense, can hit the three. They're a surprise team, you know, fifth in the East right now. Mind you, East isn't that good, but
They're not as
Charlotte's
bad as they
coming
used
on
to be.
strong.
Any surprise teams for you, Matt?
The Miami Heat.
I'm right there with you. Great minds think alike
You gotta
here.
look at them. Where are they right now? Second?
Yeah, they're one of the best teams in the East. I think it's a big enough sample size to say they're the real deal.
It's getting that way. It's getting to that point where you're like, it's a big enough sample size. So
I think Hassan Whiteside has been huge for him this year. He's averaging 4.7 blocks a game. That's over 2 above the next best competitor in Anthony Davis. He's just progressed so far. With him and CB4, I think they're the best 4-5 in the game. I really do.
Honda's agree.
Wow, we think so similarly.
My issue with
won't
Miami
last.
is that they'll win 2-3 games in a row, and then they'll lose a stinker to a mediocre team like they did last week.
Like the Toronto Raptors.
No, they beat the
Beat the
Toronto
Raptors.
Yeah.
But they did lose a stinker. I can't remember exactly who they lost to last week, but they did. So you'll have those kind of games where they just drop off significantly. But you know, so that's a good pick.
They're nice. They're a cute story.
They're in the playoffs.
How about a disappointing team?
Oh, me.
Wow, so disappointed over there.
I have a few. I'm such a pessimist.
Okay,
One of them I'm not really surprised about, the Nets. I think that going into the season with what they did, like you lost Deron Williams, Garnett's gone, Lopez has no real help. I don't think the Nets were really a great surprise for me that they're not doing well, but you know they definitely dropped off a lot from last year. I can see you irking to say something, but I'm gonna change topics and go to the Wizard because you know the Wizards for me are the biggest disappointment. I think John Wall had a very slow start to the year. He's picked it up a little bit in the last 2 games. I think he's high 20s in points, but you know he carries that team. And Bradley Beal's playing quite well, but the Wizards haven't looked that good. And looking at the schedule, it's kind of one of those things where they, like you said, they win 2 games and then they lose a game. They lose to the Lakers like they did. I don't think the Wizards are gonna get in.
You don't think they're gonna get in?
No, and they lost Paul Pierce. They lost that swagger.
This is a bold prediction of the day if I ever heard one.
Here we go. The Wizards were actually the team that beat Miami. So the Wizards are a team that are on the uprise as well right now. So I'd have to disagree with that.
Wow.
I'd have to disagree. But their last 3 games, they're 2-1. They're 2-1 in their last 3, but they beat Miami. They handled Miami, and
Handled.
you know they're Miami's second in the East right now. So
Washington Wizards will finish below 500.
Washington Wizards are making the playoffs.
I'm stuck in the middle
Throw it
right
up.
here.
You're in the middle. You're in the middle on both sides. Make a decision.
They're gonna battle for a playoff spot.
Sorry, bud.
Great.
I wanted to go back to your Nets quickly. I don't think.
I didn't get away with that, did I?
No, you didn't. I agree with you though. I didn't think they'd be that bad.
Mhm.
I don't think people, myself included, really valued Darren Williams as much as we should have. They always say you don't know what you got till it's gone. This is the case right here. With him on the floor last year, they were top 10 in offensive efficiency. This year, they're 29th ranked.
He was off the
Numbers
floor
speak
a
for
lot,
himself. And
but
There you go.
don't forget the Andre Bargnani effect.
yeah, anytime you
Poison.
sign him, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh,
Understand.
elsewhere around the association,
Yes.
got to be a surprise for everyone. Kristaps Porzingis, he's a monster. You guys can't disagree with that.
You
can
think
you?
he's a rookie of the year candidate?
Yep.
Yeah. Who else?
You know who I'm gonna say.
I don't know. Yeah, I do.
Karl Anthony Towns. But here are my thoughts on Porzingis. He's averaging 16 and 9. You know, a lot of people do compare him to Dirk Nowitzki. And here's the thing: the numbers are pretty staggering. In Dirk's first season, he averaged 8 and 3.
Not even close.
Not even close, but that was a half season. They only played 45 games in Dirk's first season. Dirk's first full season, he actually averaged 17 and 7. So that changes some things, doesn't it, boys?
It does, but they've only played a quarter of a season so far.
Okay, but I'm just saying, in general,
What a fraction's
Okay.
being thrown out here.
in general, you know, Porzingis, he plays
that-
very well. He has a couple throwbacks, throwback slams, and you know, he's definitely shown up as a rookie. But you know, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Is it a fair comparison to Dirk?
No, it's not fair to Kristaps. I think those shoes are too small to fill. Too small. I think I think Kristaps finishes around the basket better than Dirk ever has.
Yep.
Sure, Dirk's got his padded and fadeaway, but Kristaps has range. He's got a great jumper.
See, I think right now, for his first year, comparing the two first years when they're 20 years old, like you said, and I'm not going to get into the fractions in the math class, but I think that, you know, Porzingis is ahead of Dirk. No doubt about that. In every category, he doubles him in 3-point percentage for that year, and in every category, he pretty much sweeps him across the board. But will he have a better career? I don't know if I can say that yet. That's very early days to say that overall.
He's taken a large bite out of the Big Apple. And I don't know how I'm transitioning this. I'm ready to make my bold prediction of the day. Ring it up, Maddie. 20 games into this relatively unknown European big man's career. I'm calling it. He's a Hall of Famer. He will be a Hall of Famer.
That's not bold pick of the day. That's bold pick of the year.
That's pretty bold, Big Andy. That's the boldest thing I've ever heard you say.
That's
And if we're
bold.
still on the air doing this show in 15 years, then we'll know. So I mean, I suppose that's a pretty safe prediction.
You know,
Provided that
Dirk
he
is
won't be here.
top 10 in scoring of all time. You know that, right?
I'm high on Kristaps.
You know,
I got
Dirk,
Porzingis
you know
fever.
Dirk's in the top 10
I got Porzingis
in
fever
scoring of all time, right?
prediction. From one Hall of Fame debate to a team chock full of potential Hall of Famers, the Golden State Warriors.
Undefeated.
Still
State.
undefeated.
G-State.
Sure, I think we all thought they'd be good, but this good?
Nope.
You'd be lying.
No, how can you predict that they're gonna go? Are they 23-0 now?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this, I'm gonna throw it out to you guys. When did they lose?
If they keep playing like this, I'm not sure if anybody can beat them.
They had a
You have
tough
a-
game the other night.
You have a guy like Steph Curry who gets cold for a little bit, and then Klay Thompson, as he did last night, goes off for 10 threes. He went for 10 threes, folks. It doesn't matter where he shoots from. The guy just lights it up. Both of them light it up. That's why they're the Splash Brothers. That's why it's going to be really tough for them to beat. One of the most underrated big men in the NBA.
For former first overall draft pick,
Well,
Andrew Bogut.
I wasn't gonna say Andrew Bogut. I was gonna say
Draymond
Green.
Green?
Draymond Green. I was gonna
Both,
say Draymond
both.
Green. I think he's one of the most underrated big men in the NBA. People don't really understand how much he does. Like, the man runs the floor like a guard. He pushes the ball. He gets these guys open shots himself. That team is going to be very tough to beat.
The schedule. They got the Celtics on Friday. Okay.
Win.
That's a win. Okay.
Win. That's
They
a
got the
dub.
Bucks twice. Win.
Win,
They
win.
got the Suns. Win. They got the Jazz. Win. Then they've got the Cavs on Christmas Day. What do we think? What do we think? What do we think? Who you going with, Doctor?
Woo! I'm still going to have to go with that's actually pretty tough because I think that Kyrie Irving,
He's
Kyrie Irving might be back for that point in that point in the season. But I'm still gonna have to go with Golden State. Be a
Push
good
him over
game.
the fence one side. Who you going with?
I think compare the starters; they're very comparable teams. But when you put the bench of Golden State in, which I think could beat a good handful of NBA teams by themselves, you got Iguodala, an NBA Finals MVP. You got Sean Livingston. You got a friend of the show, Festus Ezeli.
Friend of the show,
I can't even say that name.
Festus.
I'll take Golden State to win that. They got to lose eventually, though, don't they?
See, well, if you've taken them nuts, and I've got that, we got a clean sweep. I think the Warriors are gonna be good on Christmas Day too. They were better last year in the championship. They're gonna be better again. I think that the next challenge for them after that point, then you've got 2 games right at the end of the year. I don't think they make it to the new year undefeated. On the 30th, they are at the American Airlines Center to play the Mavericks. And they are also then back-to-back at Houston the following night. And I think that even though they're much better than both of those teams, they'll fall to one of those on short rest in. That's my prediction. I don't think they're going to
I don't even think the schedule matters, man. I think what matters
Let's
with this
just
team...
play high school teams.
I think what matters with this team, they're so good. They can beat anyone. It's health. This is the greatest team I've ever witnessed. But like LeBron said about a week ago, this is the healthiest team I've ever witnessed. They have had no major injuries to this team.
That's true.
It's
Very true.
bound to happen.
It's that water.
I don't know with every team that you just mentioned. I don't think they're gonna lose. Like I don't think they're gonna lose. That's
Ever?
That's 9 wins in a row.
Should we
I'm not sure.
Get it ready. Ring it up.
You know what? I think when they play against the Spurs, I'm not sure exactly when that happens, but the Spurs are going to give them a run for their money.
I don't think it's going to be that simple. I don't think it's going to be a good team that beats them. I think it's going to be... No, I'm not saying the 76ers. 76ers have won their one game. Go home, retire. They've won, that's it. But I think they're going to fall to one of the kind of surprising teams, like the Suns or someone like that, you know. I think it's got to happen eventually.
The thing is, the Spurs are second in the West. They are so under the radar for everybody. Kawhi Leonard's playing like an MVP candidate, MVP chart. He's second overall. LaMarcus Aldridge, you got those big guys going off over there. They are a very under the radar team, which I think could take them out. But
Sounds like we got ourselves a hung jury, don't we?
Well, yeah, pretty much most things.
I think it's enough. That's enough basketball talk for today.
That's enough from the doctor.
Doctor, those are the doctor's orders. Thank you for joining us.
thank you so much,
Always
guys.
a pleasure.
Thanks for having me on. There you
Travel
go.
safe.
Anytime.
All right. Doctor's gone.
Doctor's gone, but let's keep this undefeated team talk up.
Let's keep it rolling. There's only really one other
Panthers,
undefeated
the
team.
Panthers,
Still going?
not the Florida Panthers. They've been defeated numerous times. The Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
How?
They're playing well.
How'd they do that?
They got good defense, and they lost injuries during the start of the year. They lost Kelvin Benjamin. Other than that, they've stayed reasonably healthy.
Doesn't even matter.
Yeah, exactly. Who's that? Cam's playing unbelievably. He's full of confidence, and you just knew that, right? You knew that he was going to be one of those confidence guys that when he got on a roll, he was going to keep going. He could beat you in so many different ways. They're one of the few teams that still runs the option successfully because he's a big guy. And the defense is electric, and they have a great running game. So,
Will they go undefeated?
No.
No.
Who
are they going to lose to? They have a ridiculously
I am
easy schedule
sticking.
coming home.
They do. It's insane.
4 division games and the Giants. Which one are they going to lose?
They're going 15-1. I said they were going 15-1. But I said they were going to lose to Dallas. Dallas didn't have a good game. But I can't really sugarcoat it, okay? They got the Falcons twice, I believe.
Win-win.
Well, yeah, the Falcons are just awful. They're going to miss the playoffs, and it's going to be a complete disaster. So they have the Falcons twice. Those are 2 wins. And then you've got Tampa Bay at home. I mean, that's so easy. And then The Giants. The Giants are going to be the
Giants
ones.
are the toughest one.
They're the toughest one. At the Giants, the Giants are just one of those teams you just don't know what you have. As soon as they have a chance to get ahead in the division, they fall down. What do you think?
I think the only way they lose a game is if they go 15-0 and rest their guys for the last week. I just think they're too dominant.
Would
Cam
they do
Newton's
that?
played MVP caliber football. Their defense is one of the best in the league. They're just too dominant, start to finish. They've only trailed in the fourth quarter twice this year. How is that possible? The D ranks third best in yards allowed per game.
They're very good. They're not going undefeated.
Okay. Hung jury
Hung
on this
jury?
one. My goodness. The jury is out.
I see. This is why I didn't bring the hammer, because I knew we were going to hung jury on everyone today.
But maybe we can decide on another football division here. The NFC East.
Oh,
It is full of yuck. I know it's illegal in Canada and the United States, but this division is a cockfight. It is ugly.
NFC least.
NFC least. There you go. So close your eyes. Throw a dart at the dartboard. Who you got?
Do I really have to pick? Could we just edit it where I kind of mimic a name and...
Dallas Cowboys.
I don't want to choose. I don't know. Every week it changes. One week it's the Giants. Giants have a chance. Then they blow it. Then the next week it goes to the Redskins. Redskins blow it. The Cowboys would have still won this division had Romo been healthy. He would have been out for 6 games. They'd have lost 6 games, and they probably still would have won this division. 8-8 could win this division. And there could be multiple teams going 8-8. It could be who's got the best record in the division.
I shouldn't even ask the question. I didn't know I'd get y'all riled up. We got
I'm-
a verdict first. We got Matt in the house. He is angry.
I don't like talking about bad teams. And 4 bad teams.
So we don't know what's going on, but make a pick. Make a pick.
Then you're going to hold it. I mean, I choose the Eagles.
The Eagles. Any reason?
No reason.
I'll pick the Washington Redskins.
Any reason?
They have the easiest schedule coming home. They got a couple division games. The Bills is probably their hardest game, which isn't that hard.
Sure.
Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, sure. I agree with you and disagree with you at the same time.
Okay,
Because I am done with the Giants and I'm done with the Cowboys. So I don't care whichever one of those 2 wins. Doesn't matter. They might as well not even play in the playoffs.
Let's go from one depressing situation in the NFC East to another. The deflated Blue Jays. They aren't flying anymore. It's
But they're not even playing. How did this happen?
I know.
How do you...
All the momentum is gone.
That's like you buying a bird and you're giving it to somebody to look after your bird and you come back and the bird's dead.
Bird's dead. Bird's
Bird
dead.
is dead.
So now the new dilemma with the team, this finally is coming to fruition. We've got a couple expiring contracts of 2 big stars on the team. Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, playing out the final year of their career of their deals.
It's only the 3 and 4 guys in the lineup. It's not a big deal.
No, just the 2 biggest power hitters almost in franchise history. What do you see happening with this team?
I think this is pretty easy. And unfortunately, the bird's dead. They are not going to re-sign either one of these 2 guys. Neither one of these 2 guys.
Wow.
Bold pick of the day. They're not going to re-sign either of these 2 guys because they are shy. They are gun shy. They do not know how to spend money. And I think the highest contract that they've ever signed was Vernon Wells for 7 years, 126 mil. They've also had Russell Martin, who's had a pretty decent contract. But that's like 17 mil a year. Okay, the only one of those 2 you can maybe afford for 17 mil a year, in my opinion, if they hit free agency, is Bautista. He's 36. Zobrist just went for 14 mil a year at 34 for 4 years. Bautista's going to go for more than that. But he's going to go in that range, so maybe they could afford Bautista, but they're going all in now, and Shapiro's not been there the whole time. I could understand if Paul Beeston was still there and he wanted to keep this, the legend of Bautista alive, they'd keep him. He's not there. Shapiro's come in. They're afraid to spend money. They're not going to re-sign Bautista.
So you think they could re-sign Edwin?
No, that's even less of a
Okay.
chance.
I disagree. I think there's more of a chance they sign Edwin. Jose Bautista's got this moxie to him. He's got this resume that has a bat flip included on it. He's a hero in this town. He's led the league in home runs twice in his career. Edwin's never done that.
No.
So Jose has this fake moxie to him that makes him seem better than Edwin, but really they're about the same player. So I think they could get Edwin for a little less. He's not a position player, so that impacts into it a little
True.
bit. I think they're going to go after one of them, aren't they?
The bird is dead. But I suppose I hope you're right for Jays fans that they will go after one of them if they still want to keep on winning or if they go into full rebuild mode. But this team, I don't think has at any point shown that they will spend money on anybody. They got David Price. They got Tulowitzki. They gave away prospects. They don't pay money for them. They give away prospects. And that's what they do. So I don't think they're going to be able to afford, especially if they hit free agency, Edwin's gone. Red Sox have already been linked with Big Papi, gone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is there a better power hitter than Edwin for the DH role?
No, there really isn't. It's depressing.
It's depressing times,
depressing.
but I don't think they'll sign either of them.
Let's try to up the mood, man.
Let's make some money.
Let's make some money. Time for my favorite time of the week. Your favorite time of the week too?
One off.
Wow. What else is your favorite time of the week,
I like
Matt?
baths.
Baths, big bath guy.
I like baths.
Okay,
It's picks of
you
the
went
week.
there. It's the Bodog picks of the week. I'll start with mine this time. I'm gonna start with mine.
You know what? Wait, Andy, who you got this week?
Oh, thank you for asking. Now, I mentioned before that you'd be pretty brave and maybe stupid to make a pick on this division.
No.
But my Bodog
No.
pick of the bet, it's a futures bet,
I'm walking. I'll walk.
and it is on the Washington football team. I'm not gonna say the last name again. To win the NFC East. And this, you think I'm crazy, but I'm just brave and smart. I'm betting on Washington to
Brave
win
and
it
smart.
purely on a value pick. You're getting plus 300 on them to win a division. They're tied for the lead already with only 2 teams.
Good price.
And they have a ridiculously easy schedule coming home.
It's a good price. It's a horrible
It's a good
bet.
price.
It's a horrible.
It's the best of the worst.
I don't know. You could look like a genius. But I'm going to go a little bit safer. I'm going to go with the team that's lost 2 weeks in a row now. The New England Patriots. And I don't think anybody is that concerned because they're in the division with the Dolphins, the Jets, the Bills. They're going to win the division. They probably already have won the division with the record they're at. They're at the Texans. And Texans have been playing pretty well.
Yeah,
They've been playing pretty well. Everybody is overrating the New England struggles. New England has turned the ball over a lot. They almost came back and beat the Eagles.
What was that? They lost the Eagles? Is that what you're trying to
They
say?
did
there?
lose to the Eagles.
They lost to the Eagles. That's
Brady's
what I
receiving now. We
know.
don't
Eagles,
even
who are a
need-
member of the NFC East.
who you said is not going to win. There's a lot of ties going on. The New England Patriots are going to beat the Houston Texans, and I think the spread is 3. They're gonna blow that out of the door.
It is a good spread. It is
It's
a favorable
it's easy.
spread.
I think it's a safe pick. It's kind of like pick 'em. New England Patriots.
Not so
done.
bad. That's
And that's all for the verdict this
that's
week.
all for the verdict. The jury has spoken.
And for me, Matt Ice, the man beside me, who played several years in the NCAA as number 10. In fact, they named a conference after him, the Big Ten. Big Andy. That's all.
I'm gonna put a hex on you.